Do we want TV Picard or do we want movie Picard? Because I think we know it's going to be a series, so it's going to be on TV. But we've talked before about how those are two very distinct Captain Picards. Yeah. And the question is, who do we want, TV Picard or movie Picard? Right now, the votes are 83% TV Picard, 17% movie Picard. So it seems pretty clear, at least who the early voters want. Don't forget, though, you've got close to a week to weigh in on the poll. So the poll question, in the newly announced series, who do we want, TV Picard or movie Picard? Go to the Mission Log Podcast Facebook page, which I think is Mission Log Pod. Is that right? Facebook.com/Mission Log Pod. Yeah, and vote right there. Thank you. I'm learning some of the stuff about this show.
Nicely done. Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole thing is you have TV Picard, who we might typify as kind of the even-keeled statesman, the great diplomat. But then movie Picard, well, look at First Contact. You got a lot of shooty Picard. You got Picard who's maybe a little troubled by some things. Now, it's all the same, clearly the same actor, clearly the same guy, but portrayed a little bit differently when you go from TV to film. I'm very curious because now we got Picard 20 years later. How much of all of that story will they incorporate into this new story that we get? I guess we'll find out now, won't we? So without further ado, let's meet our first guests. So we mentioned earlier on that we have Barry Rice and Beth Salvia joining us. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, very good. How are you?
All right. By the way, if our sound cuts out, just blame Vic Mignogna.
Well, as we do for everything. Yeah.
Yeah. If our audio cuts out and the video cuts out and everything goes to hell in the we can just have him voice over us later on.
Nice. Yeah. Good call. All right. So the real question, I mean, are you rested? Have you adjusted back to civilian life?
No, we're not rested. Everything that we took to the convention is scattered all over the entire house right now. If we had a fire, our insurance would say, we're not covering it because look at this place.
And have we readjusted? You know, we have this.
Wow. So, yeah, that's dedication. Well, hit us with the quick story here because we met you back at STLV 2016, and you have shown up in subsequent years with ever increasingly bizarre costumes. We're going to talk about those in a moment, but hit us with the quick takes on your Star Trek fandom. Just want to know kind of what brought you there, what got you into the show, and what got you into Vegas.
Well, I never watched any of them in real time. Most of the time, I either didn't own a TV set when I was really a lot younger, or I was in school or doing something that made it impossible. But I did start with TOS. And one of the things I liked about it is that I am a person who grew up without religion. So I've never gone to church or, I think past the age of about 6 or something like that. And I fell in love with it actually because it was a story, they were stories that had morals and ethics a lot of the time brought to the forefront. And I have a huge interest in that sort of thing. I'm a big reader. And I got interested in TOS that way. And then when I went on to watching Next Generation, once I warmed up to it, it was the same thing that really carried me through. There are a lot of other elements to it too. And then once Barry and I have been friends for many, many years, but once I came out here and we started seeing each other and spending a lot of time together, we both just really kind of dove into watching all of it. He had watched Deep Space Nine, I think. Mm-hmm. And so some of the other shows we started watching together, and the more that we watched, the more interested we got in, and the more strongly we felt about it, I think.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, while I grew up watching TOS on syndication, which actually got me so interested in science that I pursued a career in astrophysics. TNG mostly came out, and everything like that came out after or while I was in graduate school, so I didn't have time to watch it. And
That is so funny because, the episodes I liked best, my background is in the arts and humanities. So the episodes that I really loved were things like Darmok and Jalad, and the ones that were really, I love the episodes with Q when they were in court because I like the language, and the dialogue.
Yeah. But now we've watched all the episodes, at least one time around, stuff, some of them over and over and over again. So
I just want to
many, many times.
Well, it's a quintessential episode of the original series, isn't it? I have a question though. So forgive me because I don't think I had heard that part of your story before, Barry. So you credit Star Trek with the reason that you're in science, but that was strictly TOS, not TNG or later.
Yeah. I was in graduate school when TNG started up. And I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I was kind of like, "Ooh, weak sauce, retread."
This isn't Star Trek. That's not Star Trek.
No, it was too much old Star Trek. It was like we're redoing the same stuff over again. And meanwhile, I had general relativity homework to do, and stuff like that. And so I went back into that. And it wasn't until DS9 previewed. And I watched the first episode of DS9, and I was like, "Oh, this has gotten good." Yeah, I love the first episode of Deep Space Nine, the circular time and things like that. It was so
they hooked me from that episode on. That was a spectacular episode.
And then I went back and I just stomached the lines about fully functional and multiple techniques and so on like that. And then you said, okay, after like 3 seasons, TNG was really good too. So
after 3 seasons, ouch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well,
I understand.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, you'd have to go back and listen to all of the mission logs there are some that I think are absolutely amazing. I miss Pulaski, but this is really getting too geeky even for this show. Yeah, there's a question.
Some of the greats, like Code of Honor, was it? That was a good one too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that was.
I'm sorry. We're just anyway.
How could you?
Now I'm going to get all this email from people saying you hate Trek. Just like you can.
Just
not like me.
So, Barry, so this is kind of a weird place to go, I guess, except it doesn't seem like it should be a weird place to go because it's Star Trek and it's also part of your, I don't want to say renewed love for it, but it seems to me that you were telling me that it was current events that sort of brought you back to Star Trek in a different way, or was that just podcast specifically? I mean, like I say, part of me doesn't want to get political, but it was politics that sort of brought you back into Trekdom in a bigger way lately, wasn't it?
So I can get political.
That's fine.
All right.
I didn't do anything. I just asked a question.
Well, since you asked me that question, let me bring up something entirely unrelated to what you were saying. Is that when Trump got elected, I was shocked.
Oh, yeah.
I was just shocked, and I went into news withdrawal. I couldn't listen to the news anymore. And so I needed on my daily commute something to listen to. And so I talked to my coworkers and I said, talk to me about podcasts. I mean, Beth and I have been deeply invested in Star Trek for a long time, last several years. But that's what got me interested in podcasts. It's something I could listen to that wouldn't make me pull my hair out.
And then the podcasts had us go back and start watching a lot of the episodes over again and thinking about them and talking about them in terms of what's going on in the world today.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to Mission Log from the very first episodes, and so I listened to that sequentially every episode. Direct injection into the vein, driving into work every day, and so the elections have renewed my dedication to Star Trek because it feels like I'm not getting it sometimes in the real world, if you'd call it the real world.
So that was part of what I was going to ask you, because I know from stuff that you've told us, and I mean, in your life as a professor, your Trekdom shined bright. Has that always been the case, or has that been more renewed again over the past little while?
It's been reinforced. It's become stronger. I wear my uniforms regularly, not consistently, but regularly to work. My students recognize that.
It is true though that you really started doing a lot more of that in the last. I would say before Trump, he started doing that, but you've been doing it a lot more since Trump started running, actually, and stuff got so ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's, the Federation embodies my ideals. And so I reflect my ideals in what I wear and what I say and what I strive for.
And it's not just Trump either. It's, the whole Me Too thing, the whole Black Lives Matter thing. It's all of that stuff coming to the forefront in a way I think that really shocked both of us. I don't know. I am a child of the 60s, and I'm appalled that, I feel like the conversations I'm having were the ones my parents were having, when I was 10 years old and stuff. And I thought, I just, didn't realize there was so much of that still so prevalent. I feel really naive, but I really wasn't. I continue to be appalled.
Yeah. I will say that I was astounded by how much we fell when Obama was replaced.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Really quickly, I'm sorry, John. One of us talked about the naivete that we felt actually coming up on this weekend's edition of macOS Mission Log. On this week's Mission Log, we actually talk about the naivete that we sort of felt. I will say it doesn't even though. I know that was sort of a recent catalyst for you, but I remember I had an engineer at a radio station where I worked over 20 years ago now, and he got called for jury duty. Or was he jury duty, or maybe he was called as a witness? But he wanted to dress for court, and so he got his blazer, he got his slacks, he got his button-up shirt, and he got his UFP tie. And he took time to explain to the judge when he got on the stand why he was wearing United Federation of Planets tie. It doesn't have to be the politics of the day. This stuff does run deep. I'm sorry, John, though, I interrupted you.
No. We're hitting on a theme here that I didn't know we would actually get into. And I'm interested, Barry, because you're talking about expressing your fandom as a statement during the rest of the year. And that's not something that a lot of us get to do or choose to do, and I'm so that's interesting to me. But I'm interested then, how is going to something like STLV different for you? What are you getting out of that? Because then you just, look, you're in a different costume every day, sometimes multiple costumes every day. What's the expression of your fandom there that's different from everyday life?
So the last two conventions I dressed almost exclusively in Federation uniforms, except for a couple notable exceptions. This time we varied it up a little bit, but as I was saying to Beth during the convention, the convention is kind of like a psychic tune-up for me. During the year, it is so easy to be snarky, to be cynical, to be sarcastic. That's an easy thing to do.
So defensive.
But at the convention, you go and you remind yourself to be a friendly person, to be open. Someone's next to you and you just start talking to them. You talk to all sorts of people, make friends with all sorts of people. It's a no judgment zone. And I feel it's almost like this is going to sound so weird, but it's like I'm back from a monk's retreat, that it's monk, M-O-N-K, that it's very centering. It's very grounding. It's crazy fun and stuff like that. But it reminds me to be a thoughtful, kinder person and not just a brush off, snarky, sarcastic person. It's easy to be sarcastic. It's harder to be kind.
It's harder to be present in that way.
Yeah.
That does kind of require being open and present and really thinking about where you are and what you're doing. And that's, and being aware of your own behavior, and that's not something that everybody does,
There was something that really struck me in one of our panels that a guest said, I feel okay if I walk away from my seat and I accidentally left my bag or my phone or whatever. I know that it'll be okay and somebody will get it back to me. I know that among this crowd, I'm taken care of. And not only did I hear that, and that really resonated, but from the hotel staff as well.
Oh, yeah.
Saying, you know what, this place is full. It's crazy for a week. This is the nicest crowd out of the entire year. So they really look forward to all the Trek conventioneers coming in because they know that it's just a good-natured, open, friendly group of people. And I love hearing that kind of thing.
That was Inez who said that. Yeah. And I know that she is not listening live because she doesn't, but she does download it the next day. We also got a couple of emails from people who have never been to the convention, or at least weren't at the convention this year, who said that listening to her talk about that feeling made them cry. Yeah. It was an important thing for her to say, and like people ran up and hugged her immediately after. And what I kind of want her to know, and I guess what I want everybody else to know, and if you're somebody who's never been to the convention and never thought about going and don't understand why we're talking about it, Beth and Barry just both said it perfectly. And what Inez said and I think that's on one of the supplementals that we had, said it perfectly as well. And then that's resonating with other people. There's this connection that you feel and that you want to feel, I guess. And the one thing I wonder, and I'm assuming, Barry, this is why you concentrate or why you bring as much of Star Trek into the rest of your life as you do, is it would be neat to feel that more than once, 1 week a year.
Yeah. And, when during the week, during the semester where I teach, about once a week, I'll dress up in one uniform or another. And when I do, I make sure I don't slouch. I make sure I do what's right, and, you live up to it's a reaffirming of living up to that standard. I was telling a student of mine, she was trying to figure out her way in life because she's running through some trouble. And I said, and that's when I realized I wear my uniforms to work to try to, in any way I can, push us forwards into a better place, even if it's just that. Yeah.
It's funny. He's got me. I really can't wear my uniforms to work. I don't have that kind of job, but my work is relatively casual, and the company that makes all of these uniforms and everything, they also have a little side thing where you probably saw some of the people walking around wearing the Star Trek themed dresses and stuff. And I have a couple of the long asymmetrical dresses that, kind of have the swirly galaxy looking skirts with, the Enterprise in the corner somewhere. I wear those to work now. And I do it for the same reason that he does. When I'm having a hard time with larger reality or with my job, which is a fairly stressful job filled with people who aren't always polite on the phone, it helps keep me grounded in remembering what I want to be. And not just, it doesn't allow me to just react when somebody is not nice to me or whatever, and it reminds me that every day, the way that I behave is that step forward to the way that I want the world to be for everybody, so that's on me to do my part, and it reminds me of that, because we don't get there unless we do something to get there. We just don't.
If people are listening and they're thinking, "Wow, should I go to the convention?" Totally.
Oh, so totally.
It is such a non-judgment zone,
and right? It's so much freaking fun.
But it's a non-judgment zone, and so you're straight, LGBTQ, whatever is good for you is good. And I think I was talking with you, Ken, about this. I was at the convention and I heard some guys having a conversation that kind of made me sit back and go, okay, that's a pretty different perspective from my politics. But afterwards, instead of just going, oh God, you're evil, you're bad, I just sat down and said, okay, where's that coming from? And how could I try to connect even with that? It's a reminder to me every year to try to be cool.
So, folks, we're almost here at the bottom of the hour. Ken, we have another guest who has been waiting with extraordinary superhuman patience. So what I'd like to do is do our business really quickly here so we can bring in our next guest. How about that?
Well, I think that sounds like a fine idea, John. Mahogany Harris is going to be joining us in just a moment. First time at the convention, so we'll ask her if Barry and Beth are full of beans or if they're actually onto something here. Probably she's going to say they're onto something. That's my guess. So yeah, we have a shop that we want to remind people about. It is the shop at the Mission Log website, missionlogpodcast.com. You go and you click shop in the upper right hand corner, and then a whole world of stuff. Maybe not a whole world, a whole continent. Okay, like a county of stuff is available for you to check out. What kind of stuff could people see, John?
Oh, let's see. You got the isolinear John and Ken. I'm a big fan
Yes.
of that. You got the carbon chauvinism shirt. You have, we saw so many T-shirts this year with our favorite Lieutenant Jay. Yes, Jay was well represented. Even though Tracy wasn't at the convention this year, plenty of Jay T-shirts to go around. You got Bonk Bonk on the Head since 1966. You got Nova Squadron. Interesting story, by the way. Ken, you and I both met a young man who worked in naval intelligence, and he listens to the show, and he said that they used that episode, The First Duty, early in his training to talk about ethics and morality and your first duty to the truth in his training. I thought that was fascinating. We also have the Ditalics Mining Corporation. We have your old favorites like Cool as Kirk, Ethos Pathos logo, so much more coming. Here's a look at my robot guts. And Ken, big news, right? For people who are hearing this, well, soon-ish, what's happening over at the shop?
Well, we keep talking about the designs. We should tell people what the designs are actually on. They're on stickers, they're on tablets, they're on shirts, they're on tapestries, they're on all sorts of things. And for the next few days, they're on sale. Beginning tomorrow, tomorrow as we're recording this, today as it comes out, and then a few days ago if you're listening too late. Between the 15th and the 19th of August, 2018, you can save 30% or up to 30%, excuse me, on all the stuff that we have available. So you want a sticker? Okay, that's going to be a percentage off. You want a t-shirt? Okay, that's some money off. The point is, if you're thinking about any of these things, if you want to be part of Jay's army, yeah, now's the time because you can save up to 30%. That is the 15th of August through the 19th of August. And I will again stress 2018 because if you're listening in 2019, I don't know what the dates will be.
Yeah, there's no way to know. There's just no way to know, Ken. So once again, that's all at missionlogpodcast.com. Just look in the upper right-hand corner and click on shop. And now let's bring in our next guest, Mahogany Harris.
Forgive me. What? Well, just really quickly before we do that, we should remind people if they have something they want to say, if they have a question they want to ask, anybody who wants to share their STLV experiences as well, 669-900-6833 is the phone number to call, 669-900-6833, or you can click the one tap from your smartphone for the Zoom meeting, or you can hit the Zoom meeting link at our Facebook page. But, the phone might be the easiest way, 669-900-6833. Again, Mr. Champion, sorry to interrupt you. You were saying.
I was saying that now it's time to say hello to Mahogany Harris. Mahogany, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had the distinct pleasure of meeting you at STLV, and that was your first Star Trek convention ever.
It was. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We couldn't not have you on because you were kind of the belle of the ball, if I might say so. So I think it was maybe Thursday. I can't remember which day you were wearing the mirror uniform.
I was wearing it both on Thursday and Saturday, but I came by your booth on Thursday.
On Thursday. And yes. I was sort of walking around and just sort of out of the corner of my eye, the resemblance was there. And for a split second, I thought, oh, how cool. Sonequa Martin Green is walking around in her mirror costume. Okay,
oh, man.
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time somebody called me Sonequa, my trip would have been paid.
Because not only was it there, but here's the thing. It wasn't just the look. It wasn't just that the uniform was amazing. You completely and utterly embodied that style, that vibe. I mean, you owned it. You absolutely owned it. And there are just so many pictures of you in that uniform out there now. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Okay, well, it was my first STLV, so obviously I had no idea what I'd be coming up against. And I don't want to get all political here, but as Barry and Beth were saying about all the stuff in the States, I was very nervous about coming down. As a Canadian, I was just terrified. But, I said, I'm not going to let Trump stop me from living life. So I decided, you know what, just brace myself and came down. And I'm glad I did. It was a life-changing experience.
Wow. Well, okay. Well, let's backtrack this a little bit. Tell us about your Trek fandom, kind of where that originates.
Okay, so my parents always used to watch Star Trek, and it was always kind of playing in the background when I was a kid. But at the same time, I was more of a casual fan. I wasn't really into it until Discovery came out. Then I started watching that, and that just reignited my love for the series.
Wow. Why Discovery?
Well, honestly, I started watching it for Jason Isaacs. But besides that, yeah. But I just really love the series and just the direction it's taken and everything. And of course, all the diversity in it. All the Trek series have diversity, but I love the modern take. I'm a younger person. I'm 33 years old. So this is my Star Trek.
Well, so let's talk about that, because that's why, well, one of many reasons I was interested to have you and have Beth as well, because Beth, you were having a conversation with me and Ken separately, I think. I can't remember how much that circled around in your conversation with Ken. You were talking about your connection to Discovery and why that show resonated with you. And, let me preface this by saying that the thing that was so surprising to me about this year's STLV was that this was the first year that Discovery has been on, and fans have had a chance to watch it, kick it around, criticize it roundly, enjoy it as much as they can enjoy it. I didn't know what the vibe would be at Vegas. And we walked in and we saw in the rotunda the giant Mirror Universe logo from Discovery, all the banners with the Discovery characters. And I thought, well, that's interesting. We're leaning heavily toward Discovery. But what I heard, I didn't get to experience a lot of the convention. What I heard was just people day after day saying, this cast is awesome. And they're having a better time than anyone. The reception that they're getting is incredible. And I was surprised and pleased, because what I see, what I hear, of course, in our geeky Star Trek circles, we tear things apart, we criticize, we critique, we figure out what makes it tick. And then you go online and you read people with really extreme opinions. But in person, it was a very different thing. And what I was interested in, because look, I come from TOS. For Ken, TNG is his show. I wanted to talk to people for whom Disco is their show. It's their Star Trek. And Beth, you had an interesting take on this, and I'm curious to hear your take, and then Mahogany's as well.
When I've been watching Star Trek, for years, and I like all of the versions of it. I'm not somebody that gets attached to one version and says, oh, why isn't the rest of it like this? I like all the versions of it. And it wasn't until I was at this convention and I was actually getting ready to go up and have a picture taken with Mary Wiseman. And I was really thinking a lot about the characters. I think maybe I had seen one of the panels, and I had this realization. People always say, oh, this is my Star Trek. This is my Star Trek. And I had this realization that this Discovery is my Star Trek. I'm from Chicago. I lived in crappy neighborhoods in Chicago for many, many years, in situations that were not great. And I feel like a lot of the characters, are coming from places where hard things have happened to them. And things that they passionately care about and everything are either being threatened or taken away from them. I think what happened to me, really what it came down to is, I don't really believe in leaps of faith, and I am really caught up in the whole notion that we haven't really quite gotten to the whole good vibe place of like Next Gen or even TOS yet. We're in a darker place right now. I'm enthralled with how we're getting there.
The eugenics wars are more subtle than I thought they'd be.
They are, and so there's part of me that recognizes, I saw myself in the character of Saru, somebody who lives with a huge struggle to not let fear define him as a person or make his decisions for him. That's me coming out of my background and coming out of Chicago. I look at Mary Wiseman with her character's social awkwardness and everything, and that's me as well. I look at Sonequa Martin Green's portrayal of Michael Burnham, and Michael Burnham, being this like amazing, strong character, has had so much trauma in her life, and she still doesn't know exactly how to connect with other people in a meaningful way. They're all people who are learning and growing. And, I just made this amazing connection with this. And then listening to all of the people sit up there and talk and the things they talked about. And Rekha Sharma, when she talked about, she talked when she was up on stage, she cried, and she made me cry when she talked about seeing herself in Star Trek, because she was this little brown girl from Canada. And she said this was the first thing she ever saw that showed her a world that she could be part of, but we're not there yet. But Discovery, I feel like, is what's going to take us there. I'm all in,
Mahogany, other than the shocking resemblance.
And Jason Isaacs too. Okay, come on.
This is pretty amazing. But is Michael Burnham your character? Is that your point of entry to that show, and is that the one that you identify with? I'm just curious what the connection is there.
Yes, because I do see a lot of myself in Michael Burnham, in the sense that she's been through a lot and just trying to navigate, these unfamiliar situations, and at the same time has a hard time connecting with people. I really did have a lot of those struggles growing up, so I definitely relate with her character as well. And you're trying to always keep a facade and be strong, even though sometimes you just want to break down inside because you have to control your emotions like the Vulcans. So yeah, I really connected with that part of her.
We have a
669. Oh, I was going to do the same thing, John. 669-900-6833 is the phone number to call. 669-900-6833. Or you can, of course, use the one tap from your smartphone, or hit up the Zoom link, which I believe is how Casey joined us, because Casey is joining us by video, I think.
Oh, why isn't the rest of it like this?
Casey.
I think Casey is listening to us 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. We can vamp. That's what people in the business call it, is vamping.
Well, the problem is he's going to be joining us 30 seconds ago in 30 seconds, I think. Hey, Casey, when you hear this part, go ahead and have that turned down and be ready, because we're going to come to you in just a minute. And John, I think you had another question in the meantime.
I'm just saying it's the Nexus, man. I mean, the Nexus, it just bends time. It's Facebook. It's a delay. I know.
Fire in which we burn.
All right, Casey, are you there? Well, I mean, we know you're there, but Casey, are you?
Hey, there we go. No, the time.
Yeah, Casey, now you're here, which is there. Well, I mean, now you're definitely here. What can we do for you tonight, Casey?
I blame Vic Mignogna.
I do too.
Yeah,
I'm really trying.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. There are like 8 voices.
Oh no, can you hear me or see me?
There we go. Okay, what is on your mind tonight, Casey?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Like next gen or even TOS.
Can it? Oh my God.
Right.
All right, technical meltdown. We will come back to you.
Yeah.
That went well.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it one more time. 669-900-6833 is the phone number to call. Maybe try the phone. 669-900-6833. or you can try the Zoom, because that's, Zoomy, I guess.
Zoomy, man. Zoomy. Casey.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. Casey. Oh, I'm so full of anticipation right now. Okay. All right. Casey, try us again next week, okay? We'll get all of this this worked out. And for all those of you in Radio Land, remember to turn down your sets when you call into the show. That's what we do.
Hey, so can I say something fast?
Please.
So yeah, I'm reflecting back on what I was saying before, and I don't want to make it sound like the Star Trek Las Vegas convention is this surreal, quiet moment, of people finding their centers again. It is insane. It is heightened reality, right? It's like you hear people talk about TNG as like the acting is heightened reality. It's heightened reality. There's crazy stuff happening all the time. Oh, there's an Andorian. Oh, there are 3 different genres of Klingons. Oh, look, Ira Stephen Bear is going by. Hey, Ira.
Don't even get me started on the craziness.
No, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I want to hear your version of the craziness, because this is the first time ever for you. Yeah. And I'm really curious what your expectation was and how that got completely blown out of the water.
Okay, well, my expectations at first were I was kind of bracing myself for a lot of things, bracing myself for being in the States, like I mentioned earlier, bracing myself for just being the main character of Discovery, because, I've heard all the disco hate out there. I know it's out there. So when I got there and everybody's just welcoming me with open arms and you hear, Saniqua, Saniqua, I'm like, whoa, what is happening? What has my life become? And it's just, I could not believe how I came, I saw, I conquered the con without intending to do so.
Bravo.
I even ended up winning Best Discovery Costume in the costume contest. And that is the first time that award was ever given. So I'm pretty proud of myself.
Wow. As well, you should be.
Yeah. It's not only was your costume great, but you had all the gravitas that Michael Burnham has on the screen. So, I also wanted to say one of the really great things about going to this con is Mahogany lives in Canada and she builds these fabulous costumes. And without the con, I probably never would have met her, but we met in the vendor's room. We were both dressed up and I have the best picture of you and I together. And I just love the picture. And I had the opportunity after you won, to catch you and tell you what a great job I thought you did building your costume. Barry and I have met people from all over the country and people from Australia, people from Germany, people from Canada, people from Japan, just people from everywhere that I would never have met, if we weren't doing this. It's awesome.
It is the Alpha Quadrant.
Well,
can I ask a question really quickly, Mahogany? Because when we were talking earlier about what to put down for the bottom part under your name, you said, well, people can go to my cosplay site. Is this a cosplay site specifically for what you did for Michael Burnham, or is there other cosplay that you've been doing as well? I feel bad that I don't know the answer to this question, but I'm really curious to find out.
Okay, so I've been cosplaying for 8 years, so it's pretty much, I started the page in 2013, I believe, so it's pretty much all my stuff until now, from 2013. So
and what kind of... Yeah.
My other costumes, I did a lot of the stuff from the Hunger Games. I did a lot of Effie Trinkets outfits.
Ooh.
There's various ones in there, like I did a female Severus Snape for myself, and there's also a few cosplays that I've made for my husband. He went as Haymitch from the Hunger Games, and Lucius Malfoy from Harry Potter. So
do you tend to be drawn, if you don't mind my asking, do you tend to be drawn to a character because of who the character is, or do you tend to be drawn because you like the costume? And then because even if you like Michael Burnham, the mirror universe is kind of a weird thing. Is that like sort of a great combination of I love this character and boy, oh boy, does she look cool in that outfit. Sorry, that's not what I was going to
It's a combination of factors, like you said. Like a lot of times it's the character that I like, because this is a big thing in the cosplay community, is the whole, colors and all this stuff, cosplayers of color, whatnot. So I was doing a lot of white characters before because I just loved the character and their designs. And when Michael Burnham came along and I was like, there's somebody who looks like me, I can pull this off. So I made Prime Burnham. And then when I saw Mirror Burnham, I'm like, I can kill it in that. I've got to make it. I came and I killed it. Butcher of the Binary Stars.
You did. You did.
Are you going to be at the next con? Are you going to be there next year?
Yes, I will.
Good.
I want to see what they come out with in season 2 that I can build.
I was going to say, you're going to have to come and build big.
Yeah, because John Champion actually told me that if you come, he will rock his scant.
Oh, well, I'm coming. So
okay. Yeah.
because
I got to see that.
John has legs that Grace Jones would kill for. You know, it's weird. It's kind of exciting.
Oddly enough, that's on my business card. So
It really is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I hear there are shirts actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
We'll see if we
guys.
can,
Becky.
See if we can find those in a bit.
Put that in the
Hey,
shop. Mhm.
so I think we're going to do the lightning round. Are we going to do the lightning round, John? I mean, after we do a bit of business first.
Oh yeah, well, we have a Casey who's good now, so we can talk to Casey for a minute. We can do a little bit of business, and then I failed to mention the lightning round to our guests.
Well, that happened.
But you know, we'll we can come back to that. Yeah.
All right. Should we go quickly to Casey first, and then do the business, and then do the lightning round? Okay.
Exactly.
Casey, no pressure, but we're all counting on you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Do the lightning round.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah.
What's
Want
on
me
your
to
mind
do the
tonight?
lightning round? I'll do that. Nothing. You got, well, now it's John's legs. You only up to there, and now it's problematic. But no. I'm easily distracted. I'm so glad to hear from all you guys. I just want to let you know if there's a problem with this communicator, I've got this one just in case as a backup.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. No. Now I'm all flustered. I was having technical difficulties, but that's what I get for calling the prophets wormhole aliens. They were not fond of that.
They had it coming.
Yeah.
They had it coming.
Yeah. They did. They did. No, just one weird little point, because it's totally off the subject of cons. I'd love to go to a con one day, but I'm from space, and we don't have money in space, so it makes it hard to get tickets. But aliens outside of linear time. Here's something to think about. The way that they see linear time is like a movie reel. A movie reel has a beginning, middle, and an end, but it's finite. And if you're outside of the movie, you can look at it at any point, right? But you can only interact with it if you're synchronized with it. So that's how I've always thought of the wormhole aliens. And it's kind of cool when Interstellar came around. They did something very similar with the end of that, where you have this totally different look at how we perceive time in this kind of nonlinear way. So that's stuff I like thinking about. Like I said, it's not really on topic, but the conventions are awesome. One of these days, I'm going to see you guys. One of these days, I'll get to take a picture with you and Tracy Lee Coco if I'm lucky.
Nice.
But,
I
know the time is short, so that's
thank you for that. It is on topic because Star Trek is the topic, and well done. And Ken and I will just go back and we'll re-record any of the pieces where we talked about the concept of time and the wormhole for the wormhole aliens. Or hey,
why do we exist here?
Maybe we'll see them again. Maybe.
Or
we got
already
6 seasons to go. So
Or already.
See, now I'm thinking that Purple Rose of Cairo was actually a Star Trek episode. Casey,
nice.
Thank you very much for your call. We do appreciate it. And give us a call back again sometime. I said we had business to do really quickly. Oh,
yep.
Thank you, Casey. I appreciate it. I said we had business to do really quickly. There is, in fact, no Priority One live tonight. But you know what? There's plenty of Priority One. There's plenty of Women at Warp. There's plenty of Trek Files. There's plenty of Mission Log and, of course, Mission Log Live. And we would love it if you would go one place. That one place is podcast.roddenberry.com. That's where all of the podcasts that we currently produce live, or that are currently being produced, because we don't produce all of them. I think we only produce 3 of them, right? Mm-hmm. So the other 2, people are doing that. And then there are more shows coming. So podcast.roddenberry.com. Please do get in the habit of checking that out, because new stuff, the conversation that we have here for 1 hour every week, the conversations that we had 1 week in Las Vegas, those conversations continue all the time right there. Podcast.roddenberry.com. John, you didn't mention the lightning round to people?
See, here's the thing. We had these very detailed conversations. There was some catching up. There was all this stuff on my mind, stuff to talk about. And just for some reason, the lightning round, it just it slipped my mind when.
Yes. Well, I understand.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things we do. Everybody listening, though, Barry, Beth, Mahogany, you guys are all familiar with the idea of what a lightning round would be, correct?
Yep.
Okay, then let's go ahead and play.
Where's my bell? Where's my bell?
Is it going to be? Well, no, it's going to be. How's it going to go? I'm sorry. Say again.
No. We're ready. We're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Favorite Star Trek antagonist?
Oh.
Gul Dukat.
No, I think. Oh, actually, the Gul Dukat is my favorite.
Oh,
damn.
Oh, okay. Mahogany.
The original Harry Mudd.
Whoa.
Wow.
I cannot stand the current one, but the original was good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
You've blown my mind twice now. For everybody
next
here,
week, we're just going to do a whole show about that. All right.
maybe we should. Have you seen the animated series?
yes.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well,
okay.
you're allowed to keep playing. I was just curious there.
Everything else, but
Yes, friend, we have.
All right. Favorite Star Trek movie?
Number 6.
Khan. I love Khan. Actually, no, the first movie. I love the first movie. The first movie.
Bravo. Well played. Mahogany?
I like a lot of them, but I'd say the Wrath of Khan as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like the first movie.
Very good. Favorite episode? And that could be from any series.
Episode 6, Lethe. Jason Isaacs shirtless.
Whoa. All right. Just right out of the gate with that one. Excellent.
If you
job.
want time to think about it, you can have that. No. Okay.
The double episode that's called "Devil in the Dark, Far Beyond the Stars."
Wow.
Nice.
I don't know what it's called, but the one where Picard goes back to his family's farm and his brother is there after the Borg have gotten a hold of him, and they have that crazy fist fight out in the field, and he's lying there crying, talking about how he thought that he would always have the power of choice, and they beat him and he wasn't strong enough. Man, that was a powerful episode.
That would be family. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Great
I think
episode,
is my favorite episode. Yeah.
Nice.
Mahogany, favorite tech from Trek?
So much. Replicators would be very useful.
Agreed.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Barry?
Since we're learning more and more about quantum entanglement, I've rethought transporters. You don't get killed. You go through a wormhole. Wormhole transporters. That's my tech.
Wow. Whoa. Okay. I guess this is the last time we have a scientist on the show.
The Universal Translator.
Oh,
I
that's
just think that's the most, because I remember watching episode when they didn't have it and they just had poor Hoshi trying to be the Universal Translator, which is awesome. So Universal Translator is just a great thing. They never made much of it, but it was awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Favorite beast from Trek?
Ripper the Tardigrade. Obviously.
Nice.
Sure.
Okay, good.
Makes
Good
sense.
call.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, all I can think of is stupid things like Marvin Belly.
Nice. Ballet. Nice. Yeah. Yeah,
So-
good.
So what is it? As you think, so can so
As-
will you do.
As you believe, so shall you
So
do.
shall
So shall you do. So
She
shall you
wouldn't
do.
let me wear a shower curtain this year. I was thinking about it.
Remember the little dog from the original series that
Oh yes, with all the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unicorn dog.
I
The dog in the
love
unicorn
that.
costume.
That is, I think, one of the best aliens I've ever
That's a
seen.
larval Mugatu. I don't know if you knew that.
It is.
Oh, that's good.
That's probably where my fear of dogs came from.
Yeah.
Actually,
Just saying.
I saw somebody walking around with one of those. It was stuffed, but it was cool. I saw somebody
I
walking
saw
around
that
with one of
too.
those in Vegas, which was really cool to see. And as is customary, our final question for everyone: have you ever been to Vulcan, Alberta, Canada?
No, I live in Canada, but it's the opposite side of the country, so I haven't been there.
Do we have to tell the truth?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
In this uniform, yes. No, I've never been.
No,
No, not.
no, we've never been. I'm embarrassed to say that this is the first time I've heard of it.
I wanted to go.
That's where the plot should be.
This is the first time you've heard of it?
We've been to that rock, though. We've been to the rock.
No, this is the first time the Mahogany's heard of it?
First time.
No,
No.
I'm Canadian, so I know of it.
Me. That was
Okay.
me embarrassing myself. No, but we've been to, what's the rock called?
The KPG boundary.
No, the pointy rock from the original series.
Oh, Vasquez Rock.
Yeah, we've been to
Vasquez
Vasquez
Rock.
Rocks, though. We've been
Everyone's
there.
been.
Everyone has been there.
It's so fun.
You got to
It's
go to
fun when
Vasquez
people
Rocks
like-
next time you're here.
It's fun when people say, "But I've been other places." I'm sorry. It's a
Right.
throwaway question. I mean,
I
really,
don't
we
understand.
expect
The
the
lightning
answer to
round,
be
it doesn't
no.
count.
It's-
But we're building
Yeah.
to guess this for the Mission Log Live Roadshow in Vulcan, Alberta, Canada. This is just a screening process. So yeah.
Can we turn this around really fast and ask Ken a question?
we have
wow, that's
10 seconds.
Name any episode of Star Trek.
Context is for kings.
Gosh, it was great. It was great having you on. It was great having you on. Beth, Barry, Mahogany, thank you all very much for joining us tonight. I really do hate to do this. By the way, Beyond the Farthest Star, or Let That Be Your Last Battlefield, or Family. That's the one, by the way,
Wow.
Beth, with Picard's family.
Not
Mission
Magic
Log
Vegas
Live.
2? Oh,
No, that's also an episode.
don't even
I
know.
hate that we're out of time. But I do have to let everybody know that Mission Log Live is produced by Roddenberry Entertainment, executive producer Rod Roddenberry, technical production on Mission Log Live by Infinity Networks, producer Brendan Bradley. Be sure to visit podcast.roddenberry.com for the latest from the Roddenberry Podcast Network, including not just Mission Log, but also Women at Work, Priority One, Mission Log Live, and The Trek Files. Thanks to everyone who joined us live or later, and we will talk to you all next week.